In this video, I'm going to actually show you how to add a virtual service and how easy it really is. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a virtual service, add three real servers to be load balanced, and then set up various parameters and explain them in the tabs. So let's start. So click Add Service, and you'll see a line appear. Let's put an IP address that's available in. That's 143. We'll enter a net mask. So you can either enter the notation or the full mask, whichever you wish. Well, let's put 443 as the port, and then we can select the service type. Now, in the service type, we have several different ones. HTTP, HTTPS is the layer 7 service type. We also have individual layer 4 types here, as well as things like DICOM, DNS, Active Directory ADS, and also RDP and so on. So let's just select HTTPS for this demo and click Update. Once we do that, we can see now a real server line has appeared, and here we will put the first real server. So 10.0.0.20, and what we'll do is we'll make this an offload. So we'll put in 80 there. We can also add a manual weighting, depending on what type of servers you have, or the hardware of different types, different power, etc., etc. Or you can leave it as 100, and the ADC will automatically calculate it for you. We also have something called a monitoring endpoint field. Here I can choose to either put in a different port, so maybe I want to monitor port 99 or port 90, or maybe I want to put in a address of a storage box and its address, say port 3000. So I can do that as well and use that to monitor and to determine whether that real server is online or not. We also have a notes field and an ID field. The ID field is used for flight path rules to identify a particular server. So here I'll say update, and I've got one server added in, and you can see the lights have gone green, which indicates the connection has been made. So I want one more server, or two more servers even. So here I can say copy server, and a second line will appear copied from the first. And here I'll just change the IP address to 21, and then copy server again to bring in 22. So now I have three servers that are load balanced using basic load balancing to 143. Now you'll see this activity column here, and that activity column is used to determine whether we want to have a particular server in different modes. So we have online, we have drain. So if you wanted to actually service the server and do some maintenance, you can actually put it in drain mode. And there are three different types of drain mode available, depending on what you want actually as a user. And once the users have basically signed off that server, the server will be put into offline maintenance mode. You then have offline as an option, and also standby. Now, the standby can be used as a backup server that comes online when the other two servers have gone down, for example, or you can even use it as a temporary server that sits there with a maintenance page, for example. So if those two servers are taken offline or go offline, the maintenance server will come online automatically and show the maintenance page. And once those two servers are restored, it will go back to the original load balancing. So next thing is to go into the basic page or the basic tab, and here we have our load balancing policies. Least connections is the default load balancing policy, but we also have fastest response. We have persistent cookie, which is a load balancer cookie. We have round robin for things like Active Directory and also for products like DNS, for example. We have IP bound and IP list based as two other persistent type options, and then the session cookies, depending what type. So you have ASP.NET, JAX, WS for JS session cookies, PHP, and also RDP. And that, by the way, we can also load balance RDP servers and maintain persistence on RDP servers. So what you do here is that you choose the one that you most want to use, and we'll leave it at least connections. Next step is to handle server monitoring. So in server monitoring, you can either have some of the built-in server monitors, so everything from TCP connection down to DICOM. So all these top ones are built in, and then you can also have your own server monitor that you define, and we'll cover that in a different video. But you can choose multiple monitors, so you might choose 200OK as the primary monitor for your web servers, and then you might choose check page returns, which is a custom monitor that will return the contents of a page, and then if they match, then the server is deemed to be usable. You also have caching strategies by either host or virtual service, and you can specify what is cached, etc. In the caching section. Acceleration by default is on, so it compresses data. Then you have the virtual service certificates and the real server certificates. And this is one of the most important things. So we're currently going from 443, which is SSL, down to 80, which is non-SSL. So here we would select our certificate. So in this case, I'll choose that one. And then you can also have your real server SSL at no SSL, which means you're offloading. If you were to re-encrypt, then you would choose the same certificate or a different one. You can also have multiple SSL certificates in this field here, and then choose SNI from the real server. So if I was to choose, say, for example, jet domain there, so I've got these two certs, and then if I select SNI here, or server name indication, then the load balancer will choose the appropriate certificate for the real server, depending on the certificate that is chosen by the virtual service. And that, of course, will be determined by the host name that your request has. In the advanced section, we have our connectivity type, which by default is reverse proxy. Now, one of the things here is that our reverse proxy engine is incredibly fast. It is written in-house by Edgenexus, and we are so confident of it that we really tell users, unless you need a different type of connectivity due to your application, you choose reverse proxy. But we do supply the other types, like direct server return or direct return. We also have NAT, and we also have gateway mode as well. You also have a number of cipher options. By default, the Edgenexus product comes with cipher options of TLS 1.3 and 1.2. So it's really the most secure ones that are supported at the moment. But should you wish TLS 1.1 or 1.0, etc., all you need to do is really request it, or you can look at our knowledge base at kb.edgenexus.io, and there you will find the method of constructing a cipher option that you can import into the JDC. You also have some other things like the SNI default certificate, as well as client proxy header and server proxy header. These are new features in version 5 that allow you to choose the latest security measures. You then have real server source address. So this by default is base IP, so the base IP of the load balancer, but the real servers can actually be made to see the virtual IP or in fact any other IP address. Now, for those of you who need the real server to see the client address, we do actually have X forwarded for that allows you to do that. You can also specify the number of max connections, the security logging, connection timeout, persistence timeout, etc., monitoring intervals, monitoring timeout, monitoring in count, and so on and so forth. Now, underneath here is monitoring KCD realm. So should you have a KCD realm defined in the load balancer, you can monitor that as well to make sure that's available. And you also have drain behavior. So there are different types of drain behavior. Persistence driven, which is the default. You can change the default method, by the way, in the system menu. But you have persistence driven, you have migrate visitors, and you have retire sessions. And those are explained within the tooltip. You can also switch to offline on failure for the VIP, but this is rarely required actually, but you can do that if you want. And then once you press update, the settings will be saved, and you now have a defined load balancing done from 143 to all these three real servers, and offloading from 443 to 80. Now, one of the points is that you might want to actually allow connections in on port 80, but always have them connecting to 443, so forcing HTTPS. And the way to do that is to go here and say copy service, and then you get the service below, and here we'll put in port 80. Okay, and so now we're allowing port 80 in, but we don't want to use port 80 as the connectivity method. So we go here to flight path, and here we have force HTTPS, and we just click that across. This is one of the predefined flight path rules available within the Edge ADC. So now what happens is that users who connect on port 80 will automatically be redirected to the same IP address on port 443. This concludes the chapter or section on how to create an IP VIP. Okay, thank you.